Hey guys, how we doing? So, it's not very often I do this, but we're on a Geekdom 101 video. Every now and then, if there's stuff about Dragon Ball, like, that it's intriguing and I want to know a little bit about it, Geekdom seems to know his stuff. So, Fu has been really intriguing me because this guy seems to appear, like, all over the place. Like, in the video games, I think, originally, and then he's been in DB Heroes, and then blah blah blah, and he just keeps... I don't know who the hell this guy is, or what he has to do with anyone, or how he fits in with the universe, or whatever, so I figured this would be really cool to check out, and actually have Geek to explain, like, what the deal is. So this video is called Dragon Ball Heroes. Fu, explain.
Fu is the newest character to hit the Dragon Ball video game universe, and if you've played Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 DLC Pack 6, you may have gotten your first look at Fu. But is Fu really a new character, or has he been here before? On this video, I'm going to discuss the secret history of the character of Fu, because believe it or not, he may not be as new as you think, and the story, I think, behind Fu is really interesting. Let's get to it now. Two things I will always love is anime and video games. So I've been checking out this mobile game lately called Honkai Impact 3, which really combines the best of both worlds, anime and video games, in this awesome, fun little mobile game that's pretty much like a 3D beat-em-up / adventure story. You play as the captain of the Valkyrie, and as you go through the game fighting these different enemies and monsters and whatnot, you get to unlock new weapons and new upgrades for your character to make the game more fun and more customizable as you go through. The game is so much fun because it really is a hybrid of like a brawling style with RPG elements, and let me tell you, it looks stunning on your device, whether it be Android or iOS. And it becomes strangely addicting to stick and move against the bosses as you play through the game. So check out Honkai Impact 3. I will leave a link to download the game in the description. Give it a shot. It's incredibly fun and addicting. Now, let's get back to the video. So not only did Fu make his quote-unquote debut in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 DLC Pack 6, but he also appeared in the Japanese-only Dragon Ball Heroes arcade game for the first time ever in the character's history. But is he really a new character? Well, to dig deep into the history and the lore behind this character, you have to go back to something that existed before Xenoverse and before Heroes. The root of this entire video game landscape, the entire Dragon Ball video game, I guess, continuity, or I just call it the Dragon Ball video game universe, all began with 2010's Dragon Ball Online. For those who don't know, Dragon Ball Online was an MMORPG developed in South Korea all the way back in 2010, and it's the root of all these new characters you see popping up in the video games. Mira and Toa, the Time Breakers, the Time Patrol. All these characters began in Dragon Ball Online. That's where they were originally created, and then as the years progressed, they were incorporated into the Japanese arcade game Dragon Ball Heroes, which would later become Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and of course finally brought in to Xenoverse. Now, unfortunately, Dragon Ball Online was discontinued many years ago, but Heroes and Xenoverse have continued, and that's where you see characters like Mira, Toa, Demigra, and now finally Fu. Now, to clarify something, Toriyama was absolutely involved with the character designs and some of the story elements behind Dragon Ball Online. So there was Toriyama involvement, although we're not sure exactly how much of it. He definitely created Mira and Toa and some of the other characters, but please understand that the continuity of the video games, Heroes, Xenoverse, Fusions, whatever you're playing, does not match up with that of the manga or the anime or any of that stuff, or Dragon Ball Super. It's like a separate, continuity, like a separate story altogether. And a lot of it is fan service, like Time Breaker Bardock, Super Saiyan 4 Broly, stuff like that is all like blatant fan service, but to be honest, some of their ideas are pretty cool. Now, when it comes to the characters of Mira and Toa, who are essentially the parents of Fu, Mira was created by Towa. He was biomechanically engineered with the cells of the greatest warriors in history, just like Cell, by the demon Towa, who is the sister of Darbara. And Mira would become Towa's partner in crime, and the pair seem to always be together when they appear in the various Dragon Ball video games. Now, as I said earlier, Dragon Ball Online was discontinued, and there is a recent revival to kind of bring the game back in servers and whatnot in various different languages, but I'm talking about the original Korean release. It was discontinued, and there were many storylines that were planned for that game that never came to fruition, and now, as the years have gone by, Bandai has decided to go ahead and take some of these ideas and bring them into Heroes and Xenoverse, and the character of Fu just happens to be one of those casualties. There has been a picture of baby Fu that has been floating around the internet for many, many years. This picture is from a Taiwanese guide to Dragon Ball Online. Now, what's interesting about this guide is that within the guide, the storyline does not state that Mira was created by Towa. It states that Mira was created by humanity, or humans, or mortals, which is a very different storyline than the other versions of the characters we've gotten in the more recent games. But the guide nonetheless goes on to say that Fu is the son, the product of Mira and Towa, even though it does not state whether or not he was created through, you know, intercourse, I guess you can say, or if it was done in a laboratory. That's what it says. And the whole idea behind the character of Fu, the myth, the lore that the fandom has kind of propagated, is that he was supposed to be the real major threat to the Time Patrollers in a future storyline. He was the big scary villain with the high potential that they had to watch out for. That's what fans have said for years about this character. But the character never made it. Fu was never in Dragon Ball Online or Heroes or Xenoverse until now, and this version of Fu is not the baby. This is a teenage version of Fu, which is very different from what many thought he was going to end up being. Now, within our community, I would say the Devil's Corpse is the resident online expert when it comes to Dragon Ball Online and Xenoverse and Heroes and all that lore, and he brought us some translation notes that came out back in the day about Fu, and it discusses that people believe that Fu will understand himself and his tremendous power as he grows, and he seems to be greatly affected by Mira after meeting him, and that Fu was going to become a figure of great importance in the future world. So they had plans for this guy.
Yeah, he was meant to be big.
Again, he's probably still going to be important, but it's not what we had expected. Reading that makes you think that he's going to end up being Mira and Towa's, you know, I guess, secret weapon, ace in the hole against the good guys. But the way he's been written in Xenoverse 2 DLC Pack 6 makes it seem that he's more of a neutral party and that he's only out for himself, and he does not align himself directly with the Time Breakers. Instead, Fu has his own plot, and we get more clues on what his plot actually is in Super Dragon Ball Heroes. So in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, we find out that Fu creates these prison planets, right? Sounds like an Alex Jones thing, I know, but he creates these prison planets, right? As an experiment, so he can collect samples from warriors from across the different timelines and different aspects of the universe, and one of his prisoners ends up being future Trunks. Not Time Patrol Trunks. Future Trunks
that's
Super.
from the
Remember,
anime
Dragon
recently
Ball
as
Heroes
well,
and Dragon Ball Xenoverse has all kinds of different timelines and things like that they can do in the video games that would be too confusing and probably make no sense in the anime, but it's a game, you can do stuff like that. Either way, that's what Fu does, but he's not doing it for Mira and Towa, he's doing it for himself. Now, if you look at the baby version of Fu, the character design does look sort of like an evil kid Trunks. I mean like the baby Trunks that Bulma was carrying around during the Android Saga. When it comes to teenage Fu, the parallels are there. When he was first being promoted for Xenoverse 2 DLC Pack 6, they called him the Mysterious Youth, just like Trunks. Also, he has a sword, just like Trunks. So the story here is that he's supposed to be kind of an independent figure, but there are parallels to Trunks. Now, the motivation behind the actions of the Time Breakers of Mira and Towa is to revive the Demon Realm and to take over all the different timelines, but Fu doesn't really care about that. This version of Fu is much more interested in playing around and manipulating things from a scientific perspective. He is not a warrior who enjoys fighting. He cares not about the demon realm being revived. He wants to play around and manipulate the space-time continuum to draw out energy and absorb it. And for a while, Dabura believes that it is to help him out. But so as the storyline progresses, you think that Dabura and Few are going to team up to get revenge for the defeat of Mira and Toa, but then we find out that no, even though Toa and Mira are the parents of Few, he does not agree with their ideologies. And we find out that even though, again, this is his family, he has his own intentions. And the game does not really make it clear as to whether or not he's a good or bad character.
Right, it just keeps him neutral.
He's a loner. He wants to do things for himself. And even though some of the energy absorption may be considered selfish in a way, and having a character tinker with time is definitely not a good idea, as we've learned in the video game universe of Dragon Ball and even in the anime and manga, it's still something that he enjoys doing, and it's not explicitly stated if he's doing it for an evil reason. As Super Dragon Ball Heroes continues, or possibly even Xenoverse 3, there is a possibility we'll get a continuation of his story. So, basically, in the future, I totally could see in Xenoverse 3, we see the payoff of this story and see what his choice actually is, whether it is to align himself with the Time Breakers or to just be on his own and do his own thing. Maybe he'll eventually realize that messing with time isn't the best idea, but he's not doing it for evil purposes, or at least that's not what we've been told yet. This is still an ongoing story. He's a big nerd. He likes to experiment. He doesn't just want to go around killing people, which I respect. What do you think about the character of Few? Do you think he's refreshing to the Dragon Ball video game universe? I think he is, and I'm very happy that he wasn't just some random lunk who was going to go around fighting the Time Patrol.
Yeah, it's nice to have someone like me that's interesting. It's not just a
his own man, and it remains to be seen what his true intentions are. But him flipping Dabura's spit to stone on him and saving the Supreme Kai of Time,
that's cool.
Pretty much is a bold statement. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And if you're new to the channel, punch that subscribe button and join the Geek Army. I love discussing topics like this because I love the video game universe's ideas and I like to explore that lore. Have a great one. See you soon. And if you like this video, check out these.
Cool. Interesting. I now have a better understanding of food. I like that he's like the son of the two demon dudes, and then Dabura's like, "You're gonna help me out," and he's like, "Nah, not interested, bro. Tried to turn stone. No, you can turn back to stone instead. I don't fancy that." And then, cool, interesting, shizzle. So yeah, that was that. Thank you guys very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys, all you guys, next time.